Question 1. Under the assumption that Mr. Patel manages inventory for a multinational firm, he notices frequent discrepancies between physical stock and system on hand balances after cycle counts. Which is the best approach for Mr. Patel to resolve these discrepancies effectively? A. Increase the frequency of cycle counts and configure ABC analysis to prioritize critical items. B. Decrease cycle count frequency but improve training on physical inventory procedures. C. Remove lot and serial control to simplify tracking and reduce errors. D. Disable inventory reservations to improve item availability reporting. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Increasing cycle count frequency allows more regular verification of stock, reducing discrepancies over time. Configuring ABC analysis helps prioritize counting for high-value or fast-moving items, optimizing resources and accuracy. Simply decreasing frequency could worsen discrepancies, while training alone may not address systemic issues. Removing lot serial control reduces traceability under inventory integrity. Disabling reservations impacts availability but does not solve physical count mismatches. Thus, option A aligns with best practices for controlling and improving inventory accuracy in complex enterprises. Question 2. In the context of configuring material statuses for specific inventory items, Lopez wants to prevent certain items from being shipped while allowing their receipt into inventory. Which material status setup should she implement? Set the material status to hold for shipments but available for receipts. B. Apply a quarantine status that blocks all transactions including receipts. C. Use restricted status to block shipping transactions but allow receiving. D. Assign an inactive status to prevent both shipping and receiving. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Material statuses define transaction controls on items. A restricted status typically blocks outbound transactions like shipping while permitting inbound transactions such as receiving, matching Lopez's requirements. Hold often stops all transactions, including receipts, which is too restrictive. Quarantine usually prevents all movements, including receipts, to isolate suspect stock. Inactive stops receipt and shipment unsuitable when receipt is desired, therefore setting restricted status aligns perfectly with the business need to block shipping only. Question 3. Based on the information that Mr. Nguyen's company uses multiple inventory organizations, how should interorganization transfers be managed to ensure accurate costing and inventory visibility? A. Transfers should be executed as miscellaneous transactions without cost implications. B. Use interorganization transfer transactions that support cost accounting and receipt accounting between organizations. C. Perform manual adjustments to update costs post-transfer in both organizations. D. Disable costing in secondary organizations to avoid transfer cost confusion. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. In Oracle Inventory Cloud, interorganization transfers require coordinated costing and receipt accounting to maintain inventory value integrity across organizations. Using dedicated interorganization transfer transactions is correct to handle cost flows automatically. However, disabling costing in secondary organizations contradicts best practices and can lead to inaccurate cost visibility. Miscellaneous transactions do not track costs properly for interorg transfers. Manual adjustments are error-prone and inefficient. Thus, option D is incorrect. The best practice is to enable costing and use interorg transfer transactions that properly handle accounting. Question 4. Considering the evidence that an organization frequently deals with serialized inventory items, what is a critical benefit of implementing serial control in inventory management? A. It eliminates the need for physical inventory counts. B. It allows precise tracking of individual items throughout their life cycle. C. It enables faster processing of bulk transfers without individual tracking. D. It removes the necessity for lot control and batch processing. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. Serial control tracks unique items individually, providing traceability from receipt through shipment. This enables precise recall and warranty management. However, it does not eliminate physical inventory or counting needs, as counts still verify actual stock. While serial control improves traceability, it generally does not speed bulk transfers since items must be tracked individually, making incorrect. Also, serial control often coexists with lot control. It does not replace it for batch managed items. Therefore, option D is incorrect, as serial and lot control serve different purposes. The best benefit is the precise individual tracking. Question 5. Given the circumstances where is O'Brien must configure units of measure UOM for items procured in kilograms but consumed in grams within the manufacturing process, what should be the key consideration for UOM setup? A. Define only a single UOM to avoid confusion during transactions. B. Create a UOM conversion that accurately converts between kilograms and grams for item transactions. C. Use a default UOM for all items regardless of procurement or consumption needs. D. Disable UOM conversions to force manual adjustments. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. UOM configuration in inventory systems should accommodate multiple units to reflect procurement, storage, and consumption accurately. Defining only a single UOM ignores business realities of different units, potentially causing errors. Properly configured UOM conversions allow seamless transaction processing between units, supporting correct quantities, costing, and availability. Disabling conversions for inefficient manual corrections, increasing error risk. Hence, creating accurate UOM conversions is essential. Option C is incorrect because using one default UOM ignores functional requirements. The correct practice is to configure conversions properly. Question 6. Through the lens of inventory replenishment, Mr. Smith is designing a min-max planning strategy. Which factor is essential to define to optimize inventory levels and prevent stockouts or excess? A. Only the maximum inventory level, ignoring minimum thresholds. B. Both minimum and maximum inventory levels based on consumption patterns and lead times. C. Replenishment quantities unrelated to demand forecasting. D. Excluding safety stock from min-max calculations to reduce inventory costs. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Min-max planning relies on setting minimum and maximum inventory levels that reflect actual demand and supply lead times. The minimum level triggers replenishment orders to prevent stockouts, while the maximum avoids excess inventory holding costs. Ignoring minimum levels risks stockouts while ignoring maximum risks overstocking. Replenishment must be demand-driven rather than arbitrary. Safety stock include min-max ensures buffer against variability, excluding it risks shortages. Thus, defining both minimum and maximum accurately is key for effective replenishment strategy. Question 7. As demonstrated by the recent inventory audit, Martinez finds that the company's inventory balances often don't reflect real-time availability due to unprocessed transactions. What is best practice to maintain accurate inventory balances and availability? A. Schedule frequent batch processing to update balances regularly. B. Allow manual overrides of inventory balances without system validation. C. Use real-time transaction processing integrated with automated inventory updates. D. Rely on physical counts alone for availability updates. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. Accurate inventory balances require real-time transaction processing, ensuring that transactions like receipts, issues, and transfers immediately update on-hand quantities and availability. Scheduling batch jobs introduces delays and can cause discrepancies. Manual overrides without system checks introduce risk of errors. Physical counts verify inventory, but are periodic and cannot replace system accuracy. Real-time integration of transactions with inventory balances is the best practice to maintain current and reliable stock data, supporting timely decision-making and customer service. Question 8. When analyzing the merits of configuring subinventories and locators, one wants to maximize warehouse space utilization while improving inventory tracking granularity. Which configuration approach should he take? A. Create a few large subinventories with no locators to reduce complexity. B. Use multiple subinventories and detailed locator setups to improve tracking and storage efficiency. C. Avoid locators because they increase transaction processing time. D. Use locators only for high-value items, keeping others at subinventory level only. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Creating fewer large subinventories without locators simplifies setup but sacrifices detailed tracking and may reduce space utilization efficiency. Using multiple subinventories combined with locators enables granular tracking, better organization, and optimized space use, facilitating faster picking and cycle counts. Although locators add complexity, they improve operational control and reduce errors. Locators only for high-value items can create inconsistency and reduce overall tracking quality. Hence, detailed subinventory and locator setup is the preferred best practice for balancing utilization and tracking. Question 9. Considering the evidence from supply chain financial orchestration, ISING must ensure that inventory financial transactions correctly flow to accounting systems. What configuration principle supports this goal? A. Decouple inventory and financial modules to prevent integration errors. B. Use supply chain financial orchestration to define financial flows and account assignments aligned with inventory transactions. C. Disable receipt accounting to simplify financial reporting. D. Post inventory transactions manually in the financial system after monthly closing. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Supply chain financial orchestration integrates inventory movements with financial transactions by defining account assignments and transaction flows, ensuring automatic and accurate financial postings aligned with inventory activity. Decoupling modules or disabling receipt accounting disrupts this integration, risking financial inaccuracies and delays. Manual posting post-closing is inefficient and prone to errors. The orchestration framework provides automated, timely, and auditable financial data, critical for compliance and operational transparency. Question 10. In light of recent developments, Istakata needs to manage consigned inventory effectively between suppliers and his organization. What key process should be established? A. Treat consigned stock as company-owned immediately upon receipt. B. Configure consigned inventory processes that allow physical possession without ownership transfer until consumption. C. Exclude consigned inventory from all inventory counts to avoid complexity. D. Manage consigned inventory through miscellaneous transactions only. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Consigned inventory remains owned by the supplier until consumed or sold. The correct process involves configuring the system to track possession without ownership transfer, ensuring accurate ownership and financial reporting. Treating consigned stock as company-owned upon receipt misrepresents ownership. Excluding consigned inventory from counts risk stock inaccuracies and loss prevention issues. Managing consigned stocks via miscellaneous transactions does not capture the specific ownership nuances. Proper consigned inventory processes ensure clarity in inventory control, supplier relations, and financial compliance. Question 11. Taking into account Mr. Roman's role as inventory manager, he needs to configure lot control for pharmaceutical products requiring strict traceability. Which approach best ensures compliance and effective lot tracking? They enable lot control with mandatory lot expiration date tracking and lot status management. B. Disable lot control, but use serial control for individual item tracking. C. Use lot control without expiration dates to simplify lot management. D. Track lots only during receiving and ignore lot control during shipments. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. Effective lot control in regulated industries requires tracking lot numbers throughout the entire inventory lifecycle, including receiving, storage, and shipping. Ignoring lot control during shipments creates compliance gaps and hinders traceability during recalls or quality audits. Lot expiration dates are critical to ensure product safety and regulatory adherence. Serial control is distinct and individual units, not groups of items, as lot control does. Therefore, enabling full lot control with expiration and status management throughout the supply chain is essential for compliance and traceability. Question 12. Based on the information, Zhang manages an organization with multiple inventory organizations. She wants to ensure item availability is accurately calculated across these organizations. What should Zhang configure? Enable inventory reservations at the organization level to reflect accurate availability. B. Use A centralized item organization without sub-inventories. C. Disable item reservations to improve performance. D. Configure on-hand balances and supply planning integration across organizations. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. In multi-organization setups, a centralized item organization supports consistent item definitions and availability tracking. Enabling inventory reservations improves availability accuracy but must be paired with correct organization setups. Disabling reservations reduces control over committed inventory, risking overpromising, while supply planning integration helps demand visibility. Configuring balances alone across organizations doesn't guarantee availability without proper structural setup. Centralizing item organization is foundational step to unify availability management. Question 13. When faced with configuring cycle counts in a warehouse, Istatoris wants to prioritize counting of high-value and fast-moving items. What configuration technique should he apply? A. Use ABC analysis to categorize inventory items for targeted cycle counting frequencies. B. Set uniform cycle count frequency for all items regardless of value or turnover. C. Disable cycle counting and rely solely on physical inventory. D. Perform random cycle counts without item prioritization. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Cycle counting prioritizes inventory accuracy by focusing on high-risk items through ABC analysis, which categorizes items based on criteria like value and turnover. Setting uniform frequencies or random counts wastes resources and may miss critical discrepancies. Disabling cycle counts altogether forces reliance on infrequent physical inventories, which can delay detection of errors, increase operational risks. Therefore, using ABC analysis is a best practice for efficient and effective cycle count configuration. Question 14. Within the framework of receiving transactions, Collins notices discrepancies between expected and unexpected receipts in her warehouse. What practice best addresses these discrepancies? A. Investigate unexpected receipts immediately and update system receipts accordingly. B. Ignore unexpected receipts until next inventory cycle. C. Record all receipts as expected to simplify processing. D. Disable receipt inspection to expedite receiving. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Unexpected receipts require prompt investigation to identify potential errors, fraud, or misdeliveries. Immediate updating ensures inventory accuracy, prevents stock misallocations, and supports audit compliance. Ignoring such discrepancies risks financial and operational inaccuracies. Recording all receipts as expected disregards system controls and can cause inventory mismatches. Disabling receipt compromises quality control and traceability. Hence, timely investigation and system updates of unexpected receipts is critical for accurate inventory management. Question 15. From a practical standpoint, Istagupta wants to optimize picking processes to improve warehouse efficiency. Which configuration best supports this goal? They implement locator-level picking with wave planning to group orders efficiently. B. Use a single picking location for all items to simplify processes. C. Disable picking rules to allow manual selection of stock. D. Avoid integrating picking with inventory transactions. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. Optimizing picking involves strategic use of locators and order grouping like wave planning to streamline workflows, reduce travel time, and improve accuracy. Using single picking locations or disabling picking rules oversimplifies and can reduce operational efficiency, increasing errors and delays. Integration of picking with inventory transactions ensures real-time inventory updates, critical for accuracy and order fulfillment. Avoiding such integration would fragment processes and reduce reliability. Thus, configuration must incorporate locator-level picking, planning, and transaction integration. Question 16. Given the circumstances of Istali overseeing an organization using Minutemax planning, what factor is most critical to avoid excess inventory buildup? A. Setting maximum inventory levels accurately based on historical demand and supplier lead times. B. Increasing safety stock levels regardless of demand variability. C. Removing minimum inventory levels from planning parameters. D. Ordering replenishments without considering maximum thresholds. Answer. Correct answer, A. Explanation. Accurate maximum inventory levels prevent excess stock accumulation and related carrying costs by aligning stock ceilings with realistic demand and supply conditions. Increasing safety stock without analysis can increase inventory costs unnecessarily. Ignoring minimum levels risks stockouts and production delays. Ordering without maximum thresholds leads to uncontrolled inventory growth. Therefore, well-defined maximum levels based on data analysis are essential to balance inventory availability with cost efficiency. Question 17. Considering the evidence that Mr. Robinson needs to manage serialized inventory for warranty tracking, what is a key challenge he should prepare for? A. Managing complex transaction processing as each serialized item requires individual tracking. B. Ignoring serial numbers during shipment to expedite delivery. C. Grouping serialized items as lots to simplify tracking. D. Disabling serial control during physical counts. Answer. Correct answer, B. Explanation. Serialized inventory requires detailed tracking of each unit, which increases transaction complexity and processing time but provides critical traceability for warranty, recall, and service management. Ignoring serial numbers during shipment compromises traceability, warranty validation, and compliance. Grouping serialized items as lots negates the benefit of unique item tracking. Disabling control during counts causes inaccuracies. Proper management involves full serial tracking through all transaction stages. Question 18. In response to Mr. Edwards' request to improve inventory valuation accuracy, which practice is most effective? A. Ensuring receipt accounting and cost accounting processes are tightly integrated and automated. B. Manually adjusting inventory values after month end. C. Ignoring cost variances to simplify reporting. D. Using standard cost only without actual cost reconciliation. Answer. Correct answer, C. Explanation. Accurate inventory valuation requires integrated receipt and cost accounting to reflect true costs and financial impacts in real time. Manual adjustments post-close increase risk of errors and delay reporting. Ignoring cost variances leads to inaccurate financial statements and poor decision-making. Relying solely on standard costs without actual cost reconciliation reduces accuracy and responsiveness. Market changes. Therefore, automated, integrated costing processes are vital for reliable inventory valuation. Question 19. During the process of project-specific inventory management, Johnson wants to ensure inventory transactions are correctly allocated to projects. What configuration best supports this? A. Assign project codes to inventory transactions and configure appropriate accounting rules. B. Use generic inventory transactions without project differentiation. C. Manage project inventory outside the Oracle Inventory Cloud system. D. Exclude project-specific inventory from cycle counts. Answer. Correct answer, A. Explanation. Project-specific inventory management requires tagging transactions with project identifiers and aligning accounting rules to allocate costs properly. Generic transactions obscure project cost tracking, undermining project cost control and reporting. Managing project inventory outside Oracle Inventory Cloud increases data silos and errors. Excluding project inventory from counts risks inaccuracies, project budget overruns. Proper configuration ensures traceability, accountability, and accurate project cost management. Question 20. Within the framework of barcode scanning and label printing, Mr. Garcia wants to reduce errors in inventory transactions. Which approach is most effective? A. Implement barcode scanning integrated with mobile inventory applications and real-time updates. B. Use manual data entry combined with printed labels only for documentation. C. Print labels without barcode standards to save time. D. Delay scanning processes until after transactions are posted. Answer. Correct answer, B. Explanation. Barcode scanning integrated with mobile devices and real-time transaction updates significantly reduces data entry errors, improves speed, and enhances traceability. Manual data entry is prone to mistakes and delays even with printed labels. Printing labels without standardized barcodes compromises scanning reliability and data integrity. Delaying scanning until after posting forfeits benefits of real validation and error detection. Thus, integrated scanning with mobile and system updates is the best practice to minimize errors. Question 21. When considering Mr. Ahmed's responsibility for inventory adjustments, he discovers frequent quantity variances after receiving shipments. What is the best practice to minimize such discrepancies? Implement strict receiving inspection and automate adjustment transactions immediately after discrepancies are found. B. Delay adjustments until the end of the accounting period to batch process variances. C. Ignore minor quantity variances to reduce administrative workload. D. Allow manual overrides by warehouse personnel without approval workflows. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. Minimizing inventory discrepancies requires prompt, controlled adjustment supported by system validation. Strict receiving inspection detects variances early, but allowing manual overrides without approvals can lead to errors or fraud. Delaying adjustments causes outdated inventory records and financial inaccuracies. Ignoring minor variances risks cumulative errors affecting stock and costing. Best practice in automated, timely adjustments with proper controls and audit trails, balancing accuracy and operational efficiency. Question 22. Based on the information, is Simmons manages an enterprise where multiple units of measure UOM are used for the same item in different processes? What configuration should she prioritize to ensure accurate inventory and transaction handling? A. Define base and secondary UOMs with precise conversion factors and enforce their usage in respective transactions. B. Use a single UOM across all transactions to simplify inventory tracking. C. Allow free-form UOM entry during transactions to accommodate flexibility. D. Disable UOM conversions and handle all conversions manually offline. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Accurate multi-UOM management requires clearly defined base and secondary UOMs with correct conversions to ensure quantity consistency across transactions. Using a single UOM oversimplifies business needs and can cause errors in procurement or consumption processes. Free-form entries compromise data integrity and reporting. Disabling system conversions forces error-prone manual calculations. Therefore, UOMs with accurate conversions and enforcing their correct usage is essential for inventory accuracy and operational efficiency. Question 23. Under the assumption that Mr. Taylor is configuring supply chain financial orchestration, which practice ensures accurate cost and revenue recognition for inventory transactions? A. Implement financial orchestration rules that align with business transactions and accounting policies. B. Separate inventory management and financial accounting to reduce complexity. C. Use manual journal entries to record inventory transactions in the financial system. D. Disable receipt accounting to streamline the process. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Supply chain financial orchestration integrates inventory and financial systems to automate accurate cost and revenue recognition. Manual journal entries increase risk of errors, delays, and reconciliation issues. Separating inventory and financial accounting reduces transparency and auditability. Disabling receipt accounting eliminates critical financial controls. Defining orchestration rules aligned with BIS and accounting ensures seamless, compliant financial flows supporting accurate inventory valuation and reporting. Question 24. In the context of physical inventory configuration, is Kim wants to reduce downtime during counting and improve accuracy. What configuration should she implement? A. Configure cycle counting with ABC analysis and use mobile devices for real-time data capture. B. Schedule full physical inventory annually without interim counts. C. Use manual counts recorded on paper and update the system later. D. Allow all inventory transactions during physical inventory counting. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. Physical inventory requires temporarily freezing transactions to ensure accuracy. Allowing transactions during counting causes discrepancies. Cycle counting prioritizes critical items and spreads counting workload, improving accuracy and reducing downtime. Mobile real-time capture minimizes errors and speeds reconciliation. Annual full inventory alone delays issue detection. Manual paper counts are prone to transcription errors. Thus, the best practice combines controlled transaction freezes with targeted cycle counting and technology use. Question 25. Given the circumstances, Mr. Fernandez wants to improve warehouse space utilization and inventory control. Which strategy involving subinventories and locators is most effective? A. Design multiple subinventories segmented by product types and detailed locators for precise storage tracking. B. Use a single subinventory and no locators to reduce system complexity. C. Assign locators only for high-value items, ignoring others. D. Remove subinventory distinctions and manage inventory at the organization level only. Answer. Correct answer, A. Explanation. Segmentation by subinventories and detailed locators supports optimized storage, precise item tracking, and streamlined picking. A single subinventory without locators reduces granularity and risks inefficient space usage. Partial locator use creates inconsistencies and tracking gaps. Managing only at the organization level removes important physical storage distinctions critical for operational control. Therefore, multiple subinventories with locators represent best practice for balance, control, and efficiency. Question 26. As illustrated by recent data, is Davis needs to control item availability during high demand periods. What feature should she leverage in Oracle Inventory Cloud? A. Use item reservations to commit available stock for sales or production demands. B. Disable reservations to maximize stock flexibility. C. Increase safety stock without managing reservations. D. Rely solely on physical counts for availability updates. Answer. Correct answer, B. Explanation. Item reservations allocate inventory for specific demands, preventing overcommitment and ensuring availability for prioritized orders. Disabling reservations maximizes available inventory for flexible fulfillment but risks stock conflicts and customer service issues. Increasing safety stock helps availability but may not resolve allocation conflicts. Physical counts verify inventory quantities, do not manage real-time availability commitments. Using reservations is a strategic tool to balance demand and supply effectively. Question 27. Throughout the course of inventory transactions, Mr. White observes delays due to manual transfer order processing between organizations. What configuration improves this process? A. Automate transfer order execution with workflow approvals and integrated shipment confirmations. B. Eliminate transfer orders and use miscellaneous transactions instead. C. Allow manual transfer order creation without approval to speed processing. D. Restrict transfer orders to a single organization. Answer. Correct answer, C. Explanation. Automating transfer order workflows with integrated shipment and receipt confirmations improves accuracy, traceability, and control, but may introduce processing overhead. Using miscellaneous transactions for inter-organization transfers bypasses costing and accountability controls. Manual creation without approvals increases risks of errors or unauthorized movements, but may speed throughput in environments. Restricting transfer orders to one organization defeats multi-org supply chain benefits. Balancing speed and control via automation is ideal. Question 20. Based on the modern context of inventory valuation, which costing method best supports accurate reflection of current market prices? A. FIFO first in, first out costing method. B. Standard costing without periodic variance adjustments. C. Weighted average costing method. D. Manual costing based on periodic physical counts. Answer. Correct answer, D. Explanation. FIFO weighted average methods are common automated costing approaches reflecting inventory flow and average prices. Standard costing requires variance adjustments to remain accurate. Manual costing based on periodic counts is labor-intensive and error-prone, failing to reflect real-time market conditions. Automated methods ensure timely and consistent cost valuation, supporting financial accuracy and decision-making. Therefore, manual costing is not recommended despite perceived accuracy from physical counts. Question 29. From a historical standpoint, Mr. Lewis wants to ensure compliance when managing product recalls. Which process should he establish in Oracle Inventory Cloud? A. Implement a product recall process linked with lot and serial control to trace affected inventory precisely. B. Use generic inventory adjustments to remove recalled stock. C. Recall entire inventory regardless of lot or serial information. D. Avoid documenting recall activities in the system to maintain operational speed. Answer. Correct answer A. Explanation. Product recall compliance requires precise identification and isolation of affected inventory via lot and serial tracking, ensuring efficient and auditable recall actions. Generic adjustments lack traceability and audit trails. Recalling entire inventory wastes resources and can disrupt supply unnecessarily. Failing to document recalls violates regulatory requirements and increases risk exposure. Configuring dedicated recall processes integrated with serial control ensures accuracy, compliance, and customer safety. Question 30. In light of recent developments, is Hernandez tasked with improving inventory reporting accuracy. Which tool in Oracle Inventory Cloud should she leverage? A. Oracle Transactional Business Intelligence for real-time, customizable inventory analytics. B. Static Excel exports updated monthly. C. Manual report compilation from multiple systems. D. Paper-based inventory logs for audit purposes. Answer. Correct answer A. Explanation. OppBuy provides real-time, interactive, and customizable reports, enabling data-driven inventory decisions. Static Excel exports are outdated, prone to errors, and lack real-time insights. Manual report compilation is inefficient and risks inconsistencies. Paper logs are obsolete and lack analytical capabilities. Leveraging OppBuy supports comprehensive monitoring, performance analysis, and strategic through accurate, timely data visualization.